The most dangerous and the most beneficial products are found on the shelves for diabetics. So look, the most dangerous is fructose. You can't consume fructose if you have diabetes. Chia seeds can be safely consumed with diabetes, and chicory, in fact, can even lower blood sugar. Chicory sugar is allowed. Sugar-free chocolate should only be consumed if it is specifically made with stevia as the sweetener. However, if the chocolate contains fructose, it should not be consumed. If it says stevia on the label, then the chocolate is allowed. But keep in mind that chocolate is made from cocoa, and margarine, butter, and fats are added to it during the production process. If you eat too much, you'll get your daily fat intake and several times more. You'll gain fat and worsen your insulin resistance. Sucrose, sugar substitute, you can have it. Stevia is allowed. So, wafers, right? Diabetic wafers. They should not be consumed, primarily because wheat flour is added to them, which is an ingredient that should be avoided in certain diets. Oatmeal cookies, as well as other types of cookies that are made with fructose, should also not be eaten. However, if you come across cookies that contain wheat flour, it is always important to carefully read the ingredients list on the packaging. If you find that wheat flour is present in the list of ingredients, then you should avoid eating those cookies. Always double check the label to ensure you are not consuming wheat flour inadvertently. They should not be eaten. These are fitness bars, chocolates, and small snacks. Muesli, however, should not be consumed. For example, let's take one of these bars as an example. And if you read or look at the label for just one bar, well, so for one bar there are 20 grams of carbohydrates. The ingredients list says glucose syrup is added. Let me find it now. Here, feed, syrup, corn syrup, and there's a lot of glucose in it. Look, it says sugar. See, can you see it? Sugar. Protein, for example, where it says, you might think it's a fitness bar, but they've actually added glucose and corn syrup to it. These are muesli proteins, they shouldn't be eaten. Or read the ingredients list. Crisp breads, always read the ingredients list. If it says with added flour, like here it says wheat flour, sugar will rise quickly, you shouldn't eat it. Crisp breads. So here, Rice Crisp breads. Rice starch is different from wheat flour starch. It digests faster and will raise your blood sugar more quickly. But wheat bran is very healthy. They can be consumed for diabetes. So the verdict is this. Look, 80 to 90% of the products placed on shelves for diabetics shouldn't be eaten. You can only take stevia or other sugar substitutes or products. Always read the ingredients. Choose those that don't contain added wheat flour, rice flour, or corn syrup, and glucose. Carrots are not allowed for diabetes because 100 grams of carrots contain 10 grams of carbohydrates. Of those, 5 grams, these are fast carbohydrates, about 1 gram of fructose, more than 4 grams of glucose, and the rest is fiber and starch. Starch, when cooked, raises the glycemic index. The amount of simple carbohydrates increases, so you shouldn't eat carrots if you have diabetes. The most dangerous product for diabetes is right here. Write in the comments what you want me to discuss. I've already covered some of them. Check out the previous episode. Apples, I've already covered pomegranates. I've talked about oranges. I've discussed tangerines, persimmons. Pears as well. What else would you like me to cover? There are some very interesting fruits here. We'll definitely discuss them in the next episodes. And you'll be really surprised because a lot of what you see here simply can't be eaten if you have diabetes. Or if you happen to know as well, we can go over it together at this point. This shelf right here. If you want, we can go through everything. We can go through everything one by one. Cabbage, iceberg, or iceberg lettuce. It can also be eaten safely if you have diabetes, because it contains only 2 grams of fast carbohydrates, about a gram of protein, and the rest is water, micronutrients, and fiber, which are also very beneficial. All of these green vegetables can be eaten if you have diabetes. In radishes, for example, there are about 4 grams of fast-acting carbohydrates, a small amount of protein, and the rest is made up of water, micronutrients, and important vitamins. You can freely eat these greens if you have diabetes. All these greens, you can eat all of them too. Maybe we've already talked about regular cabbage and cauliflower. Here too, there are about 2 to 3 grams of fast carbs, about a gram of protein, and the rest is minerals, dietary fiber, and micronutrients, which means you can freely eat it if you have diabetes. The next product is broccoli. Broccoli contains about 6 grams of carbohydrates, about 2 grams of fast carbs, 4 grams of fiber, and the rest is everything else. Aside from micronutrients, it's mostly water. Broccoli has an exceptionally low glycemic index and helps to lower blood sugar levels. Chinese cabbage contains about 2 grams of fast carbs. The rest is water, fiber, and a little protein, about a gram. Vitamins and micronutrients also have a very low glycemic index. A low glycemic index helps lower blood sugar, so you can consume it in any form. Broccoli is also considered a superfood. It is believed that you can eat as much as you want, and you should definitely include it in your diet.